All right. Hey, hi. I had a bit of a start this morning trying to get the stream key working. Hi, Elaine Marlakos Edelson. Welcome to Astrology Mojo. I want to help you get your mojo back. So, yeah, come say hello to me. It is a momentous time. We are living in the age of Aquarius. And there's so much going on. We're going to be talking about Saturn going direct and what it represents for you and how you can work with the vibe. Very exciting time indeed. So we had lighting issues. We had all kinds of stuff happening this morning. Okay. But it just keeps going. So we roll with it, right? That's what you do. That's what you do. Okay, so if you don't know me, then you may not know that I say that the planets in astrology don't do anything to you, that we live in a cooperation with the cosmos, so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, the planets reflect that by way of aspects and angles. So basically, astrology tells you what time it is. So what time is it now? It is time to talk about Saturn moving out of retrograde. And first, a couple of definitions. Saturn represents the part of you that is, looking for discipline, feels limited, is frugal. Saturn is also piety and devotion. It's a collective karma as well as individual karma, and karma not being good or bad. It's just a harmonizing of energy. Fears, limitations, restrictions, ambition, the authority figure, the parent energy, your evolution, the burden, the suffering beyond. Saturn represents the parts of your body that deal with certain hormones and regulation of systems, and your joints, your knees, your basic bone structure and bones, teeth, skin, nails. Its symbol is a goat that is climbing toward the mountaintop, but it has a tail in the deep ocean for mysticism and piety and devotion to that wisdom that you have. That's what Saturn represents. So, and worry as well. Saturn can worry. Who's here? Hi, Christine's here, and Sasha. Hi, that's a cute emoji. Bitmoji, I should say. Anyway, so I feel washed out. This coloring is just kind of washing me out, man. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to transform it right here now. Color correction. Let's go with the color correction. Brightness. No. Saturation. Okay. Oh, that works better. Yeah. Hue shift. Ooh, doo-doo-doo. Okay, that's a little better. Contrast. No. We'll close that. So come talk to me and let's talk about Saturn and where you felt restricted. Who hasn't this year? I mean, this is ultimately the biggest part of what Saturn represents on the collective. It is the ultimate limitation that you are presented with and how you handle it. All right. The planets aren't doing it to you, right? We remember that. It's the collective experience as it's viewed via the lens of astrology. So that when you're being restricted, you look at what fears come up, what limitations arise, which parts of you no longer resonate that frequency. And you're like, yeah, they might have been my authority, but no, I say no. I say no now. That doesn't work for me. Or I'm ready to expand beyond my own limitations and my fears, because that's part of the karmic collective. Karma is not good or bad. It's just the harmonizing of vibes. That's all. And I think it's important to look at some of the definitions that you have that you repeat over and over again, because ultimately Saturn represents the past. And it's a very feminine past energy. In astrology, let's look at the opposites. Now, eventually all opposites that come together equal one whole. W-H-O-L-E. One complete whole. So we have to break it apart, and astrology helps you to do that. You look at, oh, here's where I am. What's the opposite? So when we look at the opposite to Capricorn, Saturn guides Capricorn. Saturn is in the sign of Capricorn right now. So what's the opposite to Capricorn? It is Cancer. And so if we look at Cancer, is a more internal, it's very cardinal. So the cardinal energies are Capricorn, Aries, Libra, Cancer. Very tenacious, very oriented on service, but sometimes at the sake of themselves. So Capricorn, just like Libra and Aries are opposites, but when they come together, they form a complete union. So now we're looking at the Capricorn vibe. Where do you take responsibility to the nth level where it's not your job, where you don't need to be doing that? Because the Cancer vibe has the ability to step back. It might appear aloof or may be actually aloof, but to step back and say, okay, yeah, that's what's happening right now, without getting overly emotional. And then vice versa. The Cancer sometimes gets so worried that it needs to look at the Capricorn vibe of, all right, let's look at the problem. Let's look at solving the problem and taking authority, taking the onus and saying, all right, it's not getting done here. There's like a bunch of screaming chickens. Let's just calm down. You see, so you have both. Whether you have Capricorn in your chart or not, it doesn't matter. So I want you to think about the things that you feel have been your burden, especially this past year of 2020. So if you have, you've got kids or grandchildren or an illness, or you've lost your job, or you were thinking of retiring anyway, and then you start and you say, okay, here's my opportunity to now go to the next level of me. This is the Saturn and Capricorn vibe. Now on December 16th, 2020, Saturn moves out of Capricorn. It spends 2.5 years in any constellation. So on December 16th, 2020, roll up your sleeves, Aquarius, Sun, Rising, and Moon, because you're going to get busy maturing. That's what it's about, growing. Now, I see some people post on YouTube or on Instagram and talk about their Saturn returns and how they're wrecked and they're overwhelmed and everything's falling apart. The things that, if you've got a love relationship or a job or a friendship, or you've got a belief system that does not hold water, Capricorn, Cancer, that doesn't hold water, it's going to fall away, and it needs to. You have to let it go. And sometimes we look at it as a sudden, wait a second, I wasn't looking to retire, and now now I'm looking for work. So if the structure that you were existing in was cush, right? You got used to it. It was familiar. You had it. You felt safe. Now your fear buttons have been pushed, right? Okay, it's not anything outside of you that is doing that. It looks that way. It looks that way because life happens. And if you're walking by a tree and an acorn falls out and hits you in the shoulder, you're like, hey, who did that to me? You wouldn't say that to a tree. You'd say, oh, the wind picked up, it, knocked the branches about, and the acorn fell on me. That's just happening. That's what happened. So, but now we look at people and we have suddenly a different perspective. They did that on purpose. So there comes the victim. Saturn energy is great for bringing up the victim's voice. And then it's like, well, I must have deserved it. There's your karma. Get to work. Get your pen. Check. You don't deserve pain. You don't deserve to be ousted. It's not a deservability issue. That's your issue. Stuff is going to happen as you learn to roll with it. You learn to let it go. You learn to bring in the next level of your wisdom and your awareness. So, does that make sense? Because you're not, my hair is sticking to the microphone screen. You're not a victim. So how can you empower yourself right now? When we look at the Saturn energy between, so September 28th, 29th, depending on where you live in the world, Saturn goes in, stations direct, that's how to say it correctly, stations direct in Capricorn. Now there's going to be a collective, wait a minute. I just spent June, July, August, September. I just spent about 4 months thinking about, woe is me. That didn't work. Now what? I think I'm a victim. They took it away from me. They made this happen. I'm blaming them. I can't get ahead. Christmas just doesn't work out for me. You spent 4 months going through some version of that. And the collective, and some people have literally left the earth, whether or not they had COVID. So we look at not the perpetrator, we look at the victim's voice on the inside. Because now that we move into direct motion with Saturn, it's going to be more, you know what? I'm okay. I am actually the boss of me. Surprise! I have a voice. I can do something positive. I can say something that matters. I can affect change. And you don't have to be a Nobel Peace Prize winner. You don't to affect change. You can be one person with one thought. That vibe moves into the frequency of the collective stream, and you weigh it down or you uplift it. Your choice. Sasha says, been struggling to recharge my own batteries. Starting to lose it with each other. That's a lot. So now comes the, how do I handle being a really great mom and maintaining my sanity? I mean, a parent alone has the busyness, right? And you're not alone, Sasha. You're not alone. I know many parents, many clients and many friends who are in very similar positions, and they're just trying to find a way to make it work. So when Saturn now sets the structure, you go through the evolution of, it gets thrown at you. Everything like hurls in your direction. You're like, what the hell just happened? Oh, wow. Now what? Okay, summer camp. We got to cross that one off. Can't do that. Sleepovers. I don't know. So it's like you look for your peace of mind in places that were expected. And those places now don't exist, or they exist in different ways. Now, if you can come out of a place of fear and say, and this is what's happening with some of my clients and some of my friends with children under the age of 13. And they're saying, okay, in our neighborhood, we see each other. We're slowly getting to know each other again without masks, being careful, being clean, being appropriate. And so now two people I know with kids are actually having sleepovers and in safe and healthy ways. They're making sure that nobody's sick. Everything's clean but it's not just about the surface of stuff being clean, right? So remember, Saturn represents the structure. If you have a healthy mindset, healthy environment, a healthy way, an approach, and you understand that your needs are met, you come from a much more confident place of, okay, I can do this. We can have a play date. It would be okay. We don't have to wear masks. Some people are, it's a personal choice. If your immune system is compromised, you do what you can to stay safe. If out of respect for others who may be older or scared, you do what you got to do. But if you know your neighbors or your relatives, whatever, and you're feeling good, everybody's healthy and on the same page, then I want you to realize that everything you breathe, everything you touch has a germ, and it always has had a germ. And so you're building up your immunity. So we're reducing fear now. We're being smart. We're finding a new structure, a new way. And I mean, you look on news reports, you look at it's the hype, the thing that gets repeated over and over is what you start to repeat over and over in your head. You have to know what's true for you, regardless of whether there's external restrictions in place. I'm traveling to see my child in 2 weeks. And I had to search and find a specific kind of mask that would not cause anxiety in me. Because every mask that goes over my ear, if it's on for more than 20 minutes, I start to have a mini panic attack. It's hard to breathe. It hurts the back of my ears. It's not productive. So if stress, my cortisol levels go up and I'm bringing down my immunity because of stress, it doesn't matter if I've got the mask on or not. And I'm a healthy person. What matters is that I take control and empower myself in a way that says, okay, you know what? I can do this thing in another way. And I talk to other people. I ask for help. What do you do? How do you work it? You just traveled. What did you do? And so I find out information. I just ordered 2 new masks on Etsy with front panel seams that goes around the top of the head and around the back of the neck. So if I have to, I go into the bathroom, it's easy to pull down, but it's not hurting the back of my ears, you see. So I found a solution. So I want you to just get control of whatever's happening in your world. Saturn now going direct this week. Remember, it's not doing it to you, but it's an energy, and you're going to feel the collective stream of energy. And it's going to feel more empowered, more decisive, more proactive, more, you know what? Okay, I know how to ask for help now. I know how to set a boundary. Saturn energy in retrograde. Saturn in Capricorn, especially in retrograde, shows you where you don't have boundaries. Whether or not you have a family or you're alone, it shows you where you don't have boundaries. And that is where a lot of angst and stress comes from. When you think you're supposed to do something for someone or for yourself. Oh, I'm supposed to do this thing. If we focus more on what gives you joy in the moment, I know stuff has to get done. Bills have to get paid. People have to get raised. Other people need to be tended to. Animals, pets, plants, it's life, right? Asking for help and getting any kind of help in counseling or with the feeling of burden. If you know what the feeling of burden is, then you ask other people for help. And if you literally have no one and you're out in the middle of nowhere, you have to rely on the universe, which is the order of business anyway, and ask the universe to send you help. because you live in a cooperative environment. And I choose to believe, like Einstein, that I live in a benevolent universe. So if I choose to believe that I live in a benevolent universe, what are the streams of energy I'm going to draw toward me? When Saturn goes direct, it's going to be a really wonderful time of empowerment for a lot of people, because they're going to realize that their discipline has been sometimes extreme and moved into denial. It's like, got to get it done. You know, that's the Saturn energy of ambition and Capricorn energy. Excuse me. Talking a lot. So that ambition gets moved into a place of empowerment. And you know what? This is about me and being healthy and being proud of who I am, what I know, not in an arrogant way, but just taking back your power, putting on your Dorothy shoes. Click those heels 3 times. Right? Let me just check in. Okay, so Sasha, if you're experiencing a prolonged sadness, then let that feeling go. Not to say don't feel your feelings, I'm saying, but you can let it go in a moment of proactivity. What is one thing you can do, and this applies to everyone. What if you're listening to this live now or in a replay on YouTube or on Facebook? What is the one thing you can do right now that promotes absolute joy? Absolute joy, because only until you're in the stream of energy that it coincides with divine flow, and that is joy. It doesn't have to be productive on any scale that's judged by anyone. Well, you didn't water your lawn today. You know, those flowers are going to die in the heat. It's like, I was inside doing a crossword puzzle. I was having the time of my life. I was doing what I needed to do for me. Now, it's not arrogant. It's not negative selfishness. It's finding joy, not out of rebelliousness, but out of empowerment. Does that make sense? You do that thing. You find that one thing that gives you joy, and you've just put a key into the lock. You turn, the door opens, and then suddenly somebody calls, you get an email, or things settle down. The more you increase your vibe to frantic, panic, fear, sad, powerless, victim, the more you tell the universe, oh, okay, that's what we're focused on right now. It's not good, bad, indifferent. There's no judgment on it. But if you'd like to move out of that stream, remember, many times I've talked about the neuro exercises you can do, a pattern interrupt. You clap your hands 5 times, you jump up and down 5 times, and or combination. You burst into song for 5 seconds. Or for 20 seconds, you do absolutely nothing. That intensity will subside. It's a wave. It's a stream. It's an energy. If you're looking past to, this is what I had. I don't have it now. 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 The I don't have it nows get bigger and bigger. This is how the universe works. It mirrors your vibe. If you want something, then you set a goal and you go for it. If you don't get it, maybe you shift gears, you fine-tune something, you turn to something else, and you say, well, maybe I need to add or subtract something. So you're configuring how it works. But after a long period of time, if you're not getting it, and all you're thinking is, I want it, what you're really focused on is what you don't have. So that gets bigger. Does that make sense? I want to check in. And it's not, for Sasha and anyone else experienced this, watching this, it's not saying don't feel it. I had such a crap day the other day. But I knew that it was temporary. So in those temporary fields of existence, I look to incorporate things that would typically give me great joy. But even if I'm not feeling it, I say, all right, I'm just going to ride this wave toward the toward the shore of joy. So it's momentarily seeing yourself on a railroad, right? You're on a stream of energy going this way and you don't want to be there. You can't seem to get out of it. You can't seem to get out of it. You can't seem to get out of it. So you just have to take a breath and coast. Just coast. Empty your mind. That's what mantras are for. Meditations are for. Chanting is for. Music is for. Clapping 5 times. Jumping up and down 5 times. Bursting into song for 5 seconds. It's a pattern interrupt. Now there's, a moment. And in that moment is a possibility. Oh my gosh. And in that possibility is something that says, do you want to go do that for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes? Okay. And then you do. So I laid down and watched a TV show. My body wasn't feeling good. I was achy. Hadn't slept the night before. I was kind of achy, so I laid down and I just focused on the dialogue. And then I stopped and then I said, this isn't really doing it for me. I think I talked about this on Monday. So then I put on Doctor Strange. And I'm just kind of like in that blank zone. And then something happened and made me smile and something else happened. And I started laughing and I thought, okay. And then I moved toward energy work. So it takes a transitional phase. You have to be so kind to yourself. Saturn vibe is very strict. It's very, you better get it right because it's about being perfect. That's the Saturn vibe. On its downside. On its upside, it's I officially say a spell. Here's my spell. I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. My needs are met, my needs are met, my needs are met. Here's my Harry Potter wand. I just said a spell. Done. Happy yet? Feel better yet? Calmer yet? Let me check in. Judy, hi. Just found you. I can't wear a mask. I'm highly claustrophobic. So I just stay home. My husband goes to do my shopping now. Okay. That's a choice. There's not a judgment. If you're not a sick person, you can be outside. It's up to you to make that choice. One of my doctors was basically trained in immunology and said, you got to touch stuff. So your body builds up an immunity. Take your vitamin D3 is what she said to me. Take your vitamin D3, K2. Cut down out the sugar, the carbs. Exercise. Focus on happy things. I'm adding in what I do. So claustrophobia is a fear issue. Now it physically manifests. Anything that we have starts with an emotional body. So if you can see yourself, and I've talked about this before, I don't have the chart in front of me, but if you could see all your bodies, you don't just have a physical body. You have an emotional body. Then you have the etheric body, and it's your aura. And it goes on and on and on. So that an illness, a disruption in your field shows before it lands in your body. When you have a consistent pattern of I can't drive at night. It terrifies me to drive at night. Not me, but I can't actually see as well as I used to at night because things move and I think they're people or energies flying across the road. I'm like, what was that? But I'm just saying, if you had a phobia, Saturn equals fear. That's one of the energies. That's one of the energies that Saturn focuses on. Is what's the fear? I can't do this thing because this horrible thing will happen. Okay, well, what's the worst that could happen? Just stretch it out. Let's just take it to the extreme. Just keep going with it. You're sitting in your house. You imagine, well, if I go outside and I wear a mask, I'm going to have a panic attack. If I have a panic attack, I'm going to pass out in the street. If I pass out in the street, I'm going to get run over by a truck. If I get run over by a truck, nobody's going to help me. If nobody helps me and I can't afford an ambulance, I can't afford the doctor, I'm going to die. Okay, then what happens? Keep going. Then what happens? Well, if I die, and this is where people get stumped. Well, I guess I have no more problems. And then what happens? Well, I guess I'm with, angels, or I'm with my grandma who passed away. And then what happens? I want you to keep going. This is about expanding until you get to the core of the thing that stops you and sabotages you. Ultimately, Saturn in retrograde in Capricorn shows you where you sabotage yourself. So if you're dedicated to growing, healing, learning, expanding, I'm all about expansion. You go at your own pace, but don't stop going. Does that make sense? Hi, Rakara's here. Do shadow work, because that's it. That's to empower yourself. And that's an exercise that I give to a lot of my clients. And then what happens? And then what happens? And then what happens? So if you take that to the point of, I'm feeling so empowered out of my body, out of my restrictive situation, and I can be free floating in the universe, well, what's the difference between being there and now? That's what you need to answer for yourself. And then you have found it. Ding dong, you've found the fear. I've showed this to you before, but this is way back when I was doing whole life expos and doing multiple readings a day for a weekend. And I went to I like to test things and also to make sure that procedures or methods or things are, not a scam and they're up and up so that other people can benefit. Everyone will have their own experience, of course, but I went to an aura machine. Now, this was over 20 years ago. And I was like, oh, what's that? I got to cut my hair again, my bangs. So long. So long, bangs. They're too long. I can't see. Okay. Anyway, so I went to this machine and there was a hand plate. I've talked about this before. And they sprayed it. They got rid of that. And then whatever germs, from the hand before. And then I put my hand over it, and there's a big camera in front of me. They're now much more portable. You can even get a computer program that does auric photography. But I put my hand over the plate instead of on it. Just put my vibe on it first, and then I put my hand on the plate. And then I just kind of like blissed out. And this was the photograph that was taken. Okay, so there's me. And this is my aura, and these are star seeds. You see the streams of energy coming into me. There's also, on the original photograph, there's a face up here, some of my angelic guides. And so I have what's called the fire orange, and magenta is my soul color. And the white spheres represent the harmony and the balance I have in consciousness when I do my work. When I don't do my work, it's still me, but then, I stubbed my toe, or I feel so tired. The dog woke up. She's 16. My neck, my neck. One of my favorite lines in Guardians of the Galaxy. Anyway, but I see my potential, and I see the energy that comes in to help me, and I see all the vibes when I'm present. When I allow myself to be empowered, but I don't stop myself from feeling. That's not enlightenment. Enlightenment is be where you are when you are, but don't stay there unless it's expansive, unless it's pure conscious love. That's the goal, folks, right? Let me just move that over there so it doesn't fall. Does that make sense? Oh, yeah. Doctor Strange, isn't it fun? You're smiling now, Sasha? Well, what happened between then and now? That's the question. When Saturn goes direct, we're in it now. It stations direct on mostly the 29th, but on the 28th in the Southwest United States, go back to Hawaii, it's like on the 27th, 28th, 29th, Europe, and then it's done. And by then, you've got Okay, wait a minute, a shift. You reconfigure. When any planet, I call it the changing of the astrological guards. So when any planet moves from retrograde motion, and remember the planets don't move backwards. Retrograde is Latin and it means to step back. So you have the ability to step back into, what do I believe? What do I feel? What do I think? What about this person? What about that situation? What about my life? What about what I'm doing? What about what I'm denying? Saturn's big on denial. So when you think about these things, as you have been ruminating on some level over the past 4 months, I lost something. Why can't it be the same? I remember the good old days. Now we make new adjustments. So, and for me, as a Capricorn rising sign, with a Saturn return and a Jupiter and Saturn, I mean Capricorn. I got a lot of Capricorn planets. So my whole body has been reconfigured. I have been healing on so many levels. I'll be talking about that in the future months to come. And all the stuff that's been happening. And what it brought me to is that consistent moment of joy of, I'm just so excited. Why? Who cares? And if my body has an ache, like this morning, my neck, I was like, what the heck? People say you sleep wrong. The only reason you sleep wrong is because you're undergoing some healing, you're flying in your dreams, you're astral projecting, you're working out issues. Your body is the dense part. It holds all the stuff. It's your filing cabinet. So you got to clean out your closets. And when you do, okay. That's why I love NSA, Network Spinal Analysis. I love energy work, Reiki, because it moves the subtle body so that your physical body can go, oh, yeah, I don't need to hold that anymore. And sometimes it comes out with a cry. But watch how you might resist the transition. Watch that. Okay, let me just check in. Okay, smiling now, love the outdoors, nature, hooray, hooray. Do you know the app that takes the aura pictures? Would love that. You can Google it. There are 2 versions, and one just does a whole body, but not you don't see yourself. There's another version. I think it's a couple of $1,000 to get the program for your computer. I don't have it. I wouldn't use it as much as I thought I would have in the past, but there's one that's general, and you can just get, like if you stood up and stood in front of it, you would see colors. But the reports that come with those programs are not always accurate. Please understand. Please understand. And this is what I talk about when I go to a place and someone will give me a thing. Yeah, here's a report on your chakras. Oh, okay. I had just come from a Reiki session. I was wide open, so wide open. I was in bliss. There was no judgment. And I was driving in traffic, and I had music on, and I saw a little place. I'm not going to say what place it was, but in and around Sedona. And it said aura photos. And I thought, oh, this would be cool. I'll take a picture and show my people on Facebook what it looks like to be totally blissed out in me. Your colors would be different. And I go in, and the woman lines me up and says, oh. And I said, oh? And she said, your heart is really closed. I'm concerned for you. And I said, oh? Okay. And she took my picture, and there was a ring around my heart that expanded, but in the center, it had no color. So she said, you need to go to the doctor and have that checked out. And then here's the report. So I look at and I said, I really don't need it. And I thought, maybe I'll read it. And I read the report, and it talked about my heart being closed, and I was in a place of fear. And I thought, that is so not true. So I don't know what the camera was picking up, but my heart was wide open. and maybe it couldn't see the frequency of that color because the program is set for certain colors. And just like this was one of the original cameras, like a long time ago, and they were big. They were big cameras, aura cameras for photos. Now they're tiny. You know, you just sit in a room and they take your picture and you can get it, and your aura is going to change. So if you went, you just woke up from a nap and you rolled out of bed and sat in a chair and somebody took your picture, your aura would have a certain array of colors. And then you take a shower, you get dressed, you go outside, you have a fender bender, and then right there you get your picture taken. You would have like streaks of energy in different colors because your aura shows your experience in the moment. In the moment. Okay? So the fire orange part I'm talking about is the physical healing. I don't call myself a healer because legally, yeah, you don't want to do that. And plus, you can't heal anyone except yourself. You can be a healing facilitator, but you're not a healer. It doesn't matter to me what degrees you have, doctor, shaman, you know, unless you can put your hands on me and it's all done, you're not a healer. So you want to be careful of terms, of what paperwork says, because people write the paperwork who have a certain perception, who have a certain experience. That's why I say, you know, you have to trust your own inner power, your experience. So think about that, okay? I was going to pull a card and I misplaced them. Oh, there they are. Does that make sense? This was not what I was going to be talking about today, but I guess we went where we needed to go. Okay, so Sasha, I would like an answer. What happened between I'm crying all the time, but I'm happy now? What was the moment that changed? And you may say, well, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but anyway. I'm going to pull a card for everyone. Thank you. My Galactic Council, my Star Seed, my squad. I'm going to be back on Thursday, I think. But when I'm in Portland, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stream live. So I don't know if I will be here the week of October 11th. But today is the 28th. I will be back on Thursday. It is a full moon in Aries. We're going to be talking about how to amp up your vibe in a full moon. And if you are an Aries, sun, rising, or moon, you may not sleep a lot. I don't know. Depends on what's going on. Okay. Vicky says, yes, thank you. You're welcome. And thank you. Oh, no, thank you. No, thank you. My magic wand? Of course. This is what made you happy. My magic wand. So it may be time to watch Doctor Strange and a bunch of Harry Potter movies and understand your ability to move energy. Where do movies come from? They come from people. Where do people come from? The universe. What's in the universe? Everything. You mean Thanos is real? Well, what he represents, I mean, he's not an asteroid for us or anything, but Thanatos in Greek means death. Oh, whoa, look out. They're flying at me. Okay, ooh, I love these. Thank you. Still, my hair. I feel like I need a wand for my hair. Okay. Stillness. Stillness. What do you want to do with that? Stillness. Be still. From stillness comes creation. What do you want to do with that? anytime you feel so overwhelmed, you don't know what to do or what to think, don't. Don't force yourself to do anything. I mean, if we're talking, yeah, if the kitchen pot is burning and you're depressed, just turn off the gas and move the pot, right? I mean, it's like common sense. But to start hyping on the pot, you see, I burn everything. I can't, my life is a shambles. It's not. You don't want to use that thing that just happened as a reason to support your argument for powerlessness. You're going to hear my voice in your head say, shh, be still, be still. Be still, my beating heart. And then from that moment is the perfect moment of creation. What do you want to create in that moment? Something fun. Something fun doesn't have to be, I'm going to redo my kitchen. I'm going to clean out all the closets. I'm going to Marie Kondo my life. It's going to be, I'm going to whip those kids into shape. I'm going to finish a book I started 6 months ago. How about you just take a step and go, wow, it feels really good to move. I'm so grateful for my body. I'm so grateful for the clean water. I'm so grateful for my purple drink. I'm so grateful for the fact that I exist. Yeah, it might be easier if I'm not here. So if you choose to go, you go. There's no judgment on it. None. If you choose to stay, you can have some fun. Ready? Wands at the ready. Let's power up, people. Let's create that vibe. I'll be back on Thursday. Come back and say hello to me. Spread the word, share, like, comment. If you're on watching this on a replay, my dog is tippy-toeing around me. He's going, it's snack time, it's snack time. If you're watching this in a replay, then you can find me on YouTube, Elaine Marilakos Edelson, Astrology Mojo. You can also see all of my videos here on Facebook, and I will just post the link so you can go and just go over and get a dose of me if you need it. But you got this. You got this. All right, folks, I'll be back Thursday the 1st, full moon. Bye. See ya. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye. Thanks for being you. As always, I wish you peace. See you Thursday.